So guys, welcome back to the channel. Slightly different perspective today than normal. Normally film from over here, but I'm over here in the flower beds just trying to thin out some of this growth. So this here is what happens if you do slight over application of feed. You get this kind of growth in your plants. So I don't want to encourage the top growth, because that's going to put too much pressure into the plant to grow up the way rather than filling out. So I want these plants to fill out and you know, knit together. So I've got one here, I've got one here. This one's okay, this is natural growth, so this one's come up quite well, but this one in particular versus its brother over here, slightly different. So what I'm going to do is just going to trim this back. So I've got my squeaky snips here, and I'm just going to work down until I find the base of it, and I'm just going to snip it off like that. So first one, so you can see there, it is quite healthy, but it's going to encourage the plants to put more energy into the top growth rather than spreading out and filling out. So I just want to get rid of these further down if I can, and just cut it off, and that just will help the plant to understand that it needs to grow down the bottom rather than up here at the top. So just snipping away here, just getting rid of some of this excess growth. It's just like anything else, you know, if you snip away things and plants, it just encourages the plant to go, right, okay, I don't want to be growing up the top. It's kind of similar as well. If you look on the you know, on country roads and things like that, you'll see trees that have been shaped by, you know, buses or trucks going past. They don't grow beyond that shape anymore. So this is the same thing. This is telling the plant, I don't want you to grow up the way, I want you to grow out the way. So I'm just going to snip away some of this growth, and just encourage this more sort of lateral growth that I want to see. So trim that out. Just bring that down. Already looks better in my opinion. Right down here. So I can actually see the plant down the bottom here is sending all of its energy up these branches rather than down the bottom. So this is just going to give it that wee message to put its energy into growing out this space here. So these are good shears. These are Jardin from France, and they're ratcheting, so you can, if there's thick stalks like this, you can just pump this and it just ratchets and cuts it off. So I also wanted to show that I don't just do lawn, I do my plants as well. Just in here. That's it. And I can also do this one as well, just to encourage growth in the bottom area. So it's part and parcel of doing this to your plants. It's just giving it a wee trim and it just tells the plant, going to focus on that sort of lateral growth rather than top growth. So the garden's looking okay. The grass, what am I doing with the grass? Right, so like any other, there's lots and lots of people out there with their lawn channels, right? And I'm no different. I'm just a lawn channel trying to differentiate himself between the competition. So what am I doing? I'm trying to look at different options for different things to make my channel stand out from everyone else's. So if you look at some of the other channels and what they're trying and all the different lawn things, they're going to different companies, different products to make theirs do different things. So some channels are using true grass, which is a sort of, it's like a nutri boost, very minimal NPK, but mostly trace elements and seaweeds and wetting agents to encourage a healthy root system, a healthy plant, but very minimal nitrogen for top growth, and then they'll top it up with liquids. I want to do something a bit different. I want to kind of differentiate my channel a wee bit, because I want a slightly different result. I don't mind cutting my lawn. I don't mind kind of going to, spending a bit of time cutting it, because it's ryegrass. Mine isn't a bent fescue, it's not a bent lawn where you just put the seed down, you mow it, and it just continues to do that lateral growth. I've got some creeping variety in this ryegrass, and the creeping variety doesn't kick in until the end of the season, so it actually kicks in the winter months, autumn and winter. So it helps to kind of knit the grass together, protect the canopy from your weeds and all that kind of stuff coming into it. And I can tell you right now that this lawn in particular has almost no weeds in it, which is a bit of a revelation, because last year it was full of weeds. So this year I've tried to keep on top of the weeds, dig them out where possible, and actually the lawn's recovered really quite fast from digging those weeds out. So the spaces, I just filled it back with soil, and almost within a week to 2 weeks the hole was completely gone and the grass had covered it all over. So that variety is working for me, and it's a native ryegrass, so it's bred for this condition in the UK, and for the most part it's working well. Yes, there is thinning around some of the parts of the lawn that I don't want, but I'm not nearly feeding it as much as I did last year. I've spent more time in my front lawn than I have done in the rear lawn this year, and you can see the difference. The grass in the back is more of a sort of light to lime green colour, and that often tells you you're not putting enough nitrogen into the lawn, you're not putting enough nutrients into the lawn, whereas my front lawn is a 100% brand new lawn that I seeded earlier in the year, and that's very much a much richer, darker green colour from new seed, but also the feeding regime that I've been applying to it as of now. So I'm putting more time and effort into that lawn, and that's what you have to do in your garden. If you've got a garden this size, yeah, it would be great if I could spend, lots and lots of money on my feeding regime, but I just don't have that kind of money, so I have to pick and choose what I want to do in the garden. And the front lawn has been the stuff this year. The rear lawn next year, I'm going to kill off the rear lawn as I did the front lawn this year, and I'm going to reseed it with the same seed, 100% rye mix, and I'm just going to go to town in that effort. So why am I doing it? I'm doing it for the purpose of, here's a nice weed as well, for the purpose of trying something different. I don't want to be like everyone else, I want to be different in this channel. So what am I doing? So I'm, as I said, some channels will be doing True Grass, Integramax as their product. Some people are trying a Trace Elements package. Some people are trying the sort of, all of the different brands out there. There's loads and loads of brands. You can look them up for yourself. As I said, there's plenty. So I'm looking at something slightly different. I'm having a conversation next week about it, and I want to try something different on my lawns, something a bit more akin to, you know, researching what the actual grass needs. So I'm going to get a soil test done, and that should help me understand a wee bit more about what's going on down below, and by doing a bit of research into the grass itself and the nutrients, the macronutrients, the trace elements packages that you need to put on it, the NPK blends, with all of that I should be in a better place. So I'm looking at a granulated feed that works well, and it's 55% coated and 45% uncoated, so you'll get an immediate reaction in the lawn and then a long-term release of the nitrogen so that you'll get a healthier sward. It's got trace elements in it, and it's got magnesium in it to help with the green up and the natural green up in the grass. And then secondly, I'm looking at liquid feed, which is pure urea nitrogen, so it's 15%, and it's got quite a high percentage of iron in it, so you can put in, for this amount of grass that I've got here, you've got something like would that be about a litre for 12.5 litres of water, and you can put that down, and that will top up over the top of the granulated feeds, and that will give you that instant reaction that the grass requires. And then on top of that, I'm looking at putting in a kelp product as well, which should help me get some of the carbohydrates, the vitamins, the trace elements all down into the grass. And then on top of that, at this time of the year with the hotter temperatures, not that today is very hot, but the hotter temperatures, bringing in a wetting agent as well. So there's 4 products I'm looking at, four products that I'm looking at, and I'm having a conversation next week about that. And once I then get these packages and these products, I'll then be able to start applying it to this lawn and the front lawn, and I want to see the reaction of both of them so that I can determine if that seed mix that I've purchased from Hurls this year is going to be suitable for the back lawn as well. So by doing it in the front, I can then see the reaction that it's going to have, and hopefully then I can develop that and use that, and I'll be able to share those products with you in terms of what I'm using. So it's been a bit of thinking about it, looking at all the different things on the market, and really reacting what is needed for my lawn rather than what everyone else says. I want to try something different. I've tried the different ones, you know, if you look at the videos on YouTube this year, everyone's talking about bent and fescue and the stripes that you can get, and you can lay them down and all that good stuff, and feeding it with all the right products and everything. That might work well for bents and fescues, but I want to try something different, as I said. So my lawn is 100% blended rye variety, and it's got a creeping variety, a spring summer variety, and an autumn winter variety of rye. So that should give me the ability to have growth throughout the entire year. So that's why I chose it. I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm doing it for me, and if it works, fantastic, and I can share that with all of you guys and what I've done to develop my lawns into something useful. So I'll just keep going with the snipping away here. I think the rain is coming. I can feel it in my head. So better get a move on before it starts raining. It's already looking a bit better, so that's good. Alright, so that's that one trimmed back, and that will encourage the plant to grow out laterally rather than straight up. So it might look a bit thinner. You might be going, oh my god, what have you chopped out of it? But again, doing this to the plants is like a haircut. It just tells the plant, right, I don't want you to grow up the way, I want you to grow out the way. So by doing this, I'm reducing the height, but that will encourage the spread across the board. I could do it to this one as well, but this one doesn't look too bad in terms of growth. So yeah, I'll leave this wee guy, he looks okay. He's still developing down the bottom. This guy's still fine. Got the hostas in the background here that have flowered, which is nice. And then the rest of the garden's looking pretty decent. So what we'll be doing is, to the side of the camera here, I've got a rowan tree. Now this rowan tree used to be, when we planted it in, when would that have been? That would have been end of April. It was a twig about that size. So it's grown really well in here. It's a nice strong plant. I'm supporting it with a little bit of a wee frame round here so that it doesn't get blown about in the wind. And I'm going to be moving that at the end of the season into that space over there, and that's going to be a nice new tree over here as well. So, but I just want to snip out a wee bit of the side growth here because I want to encourage it to grow up the way rather than growing down the bottom here. So just by taking some of these young leaves out, I can just encourage it to continue to grow up the way, like that. That will encourage it to keep growing up the way rather than to the side. So it looks really, really good. I'm really pleased with overall how this wee guy's looking, and just continue to work at it, and just pull anything that needs a wee trim. That's fine. Anything that's just looking a wee bit like it needs a wee bit of extra help, there we go, perfect. So yeah, this is part and parcel of looking after your garden, is just trimming out things and making it look okay for the most part. So we've got the rowans here, the larger shrubs here. We've got a cherry blossom over to the side here. Only flowers once a year, which is a shame. You get like 4 weeks of beautiful flowers and then it just dies off, and then you're left with a lovely leafy tree. I've got a rhubarb behind here at the back, and then what's going to happen here is all of this stuff, all these gaps that are in around all of this space here, is for all the shrubs that I have over to the left hand side. I've got an acer, a Japanese acer over here, and I think it's being stinted a little bit by the pot, so the growth of it, so it'll probably move in here and I'll put a support frame around it just to support it as it's growing. Rowan, as I said, is going over the back here. Behind the camera just now is my hydrangea. I'll show you that in a minute, and that's going to move not into this bank. I've decided it's not going here. It's going to go round the front, and that's going to be in the new flower bed that I'm forming at the front, so that there's immediate colour through there for everyone to see and enjoy when they're walking past or whatever. So this is a close-up more of the pergola, so we can see some of the lovely dahlias that I've got here. This is looking fine, but you always just want to, with dahlias, you just want to deadhead them. So when you see something that's looking a little bit kind of the Scottish word wabbit, looking a bit like it needs a wee bit of trimming, you just pull it off, just pull the heads off, the ones that are looking just a wee bit sorry for themselves, which is all those ones. They're okay, they're fine. They look worse, but you can see how many lovely new seed and flower heads I'm getting coming on there. Then I've got the lovely clematis here. Their flowers are starting to sort of taper off a wee bit now. I've also got some over here, which is quite nice. Again, more dahlias, more orange ones this time, so orange and purple. Got some here in pink. I've also got a little hebe here that's growing in here, and then I've got this clematis that's also very nice, as you can see. Quite windy today, sorry about that, guys. The hanging baskets this year, not as happy as I was last year. They were beautiful last year, I just think the plant variety I picked this year hasn't really done what I expected, so these are probably going to get taken out, and I'll put some autumn versions in. But you can see the rose producing a lovely colour. It smells amazing as well. A better view of the clematis here. So what we're actually going to do next year is, I'll just come back around this way so you can see it a wee bit better. So on the back of the clematis and on this post here, I'm actually going to put a narrow 30cm by 180, so that from the bottom of that area there to the top up here is actually 180 centimetres. So I'm going to put in a trellis panel that basically goes across the bottom of this bit here up to the top up here, and it'll just be a very narrow 180 by 30 centimetres trellis panel, and that's going to help the two clematis be able to climb better as they grow up, and then I'll be able to get them to come up over the top of the pergola as well. I'll probably do the same on this side as well, so put some trellis on here so that it can help these plants grow up and attach better, albeit this guy here is really well established. And if you look at this, this is what astonishes me. Look at that there, how thin that is, and it's supporting the full weight. It's super strong, amazing. Nature's just a wonderful thing. So yeah, this is how this looks. You can see, just need to do some deadheading. So again, if you see something, just pull it, and then that will encourage the plant to send more of its nutrients to the new flower heads. But look at this dahlia, look at that, absolutely beautiful. And then these guys here, and then this was the foxglove bed, and you can see we've trimmed back the foxgloves because they were all sort of done. So some of these plants have started dying off because these are really early spring into early summer, and then they start to die off after a period of time, which is fine, it's nature. But we can see by trimming the foxgloves at the back, the pieris has started to grow out, and that encourages a little bit more new growth as well. So all in all, very happy with how things are looking. If you look at the grass from sort of top down, if you were looking at it here, you can see it looks okay, but if I come down, you'll see it's not as thick as I would want it to be, and that's just because I'm not putting in as much feeding into this grass as I did last year. It's not nearly got the same amount of nitrogen and everything. I probably spent about £1,500, something like that. You can see this grass looks considerably greener than the back lawn all the way across here. So this is looking really nice in general. So this is a brand new lawn this year. It was killed off, and this bit was grown out here to connect the two pieces of lawn, and this is how it looks. I've got the crocosmia that's coming up, as you can see here, nice new flowers, which is looking great. Salvia hot lips and a pieris forest flame at the side there. You can see that in comparison to the back grass, about how dense that sward actually is. Looks really, really good. The big reveal for the hydrangea. There's a little rowan, and here's the hydrangea starting to really come into its own. Look at those flowers. Absolutely beautiful, don't you think? They're everywhere. Around the side here. I just love them. Lovely colours. So that's my little thing that I did today. More so about the garden and the plants. Here's the lovely rhubarb. Nice healthy looking rhubarb in there. So yeah, this is all about the garden, the plants, and less so about. So because I've got an edge on the grass here, I tend to find that obviously the dropped dead material falls down onto the side of the lawn here, So I need to get rid of it, otherwise it can encourage weeds and things like that to sort of develop. So you just get down on your hands and knees and get amongst it, really. And that's pretty much it. That's what you end up with. All that side of your lawn. Just get rid of it, get it out in the bin. So that's where I'll sign off for today, guys. Hope everyone has a nice time, the weekend, wherever you are watching. Get out in your gardens, cut your grass, feed your plants, do whatever you need to do, but get outdoors. It's good for here and good for your body. So hopefully that can help me lose a bit of weight as well. So thanks very much for that. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.